Marjorie is this. And I'll never say anything bad about her other than what she deserved, because she is the mother of my 2 kids. And nothing can change that. And I love my kids. And believe it or not, I love Marjorie from a Christ perspective. But let me say this now. I will say this. But she needs to be called out for what she's done to this family.
If controversy had a face this year, insiders say it would look a lot like Marjorie Harvey. Because piece by piece, story by story, something hasn't stopped building around her. And now, it looks like the storm just hit a different level. Sources claim the latest allegation isn't just noise, it's personal. It's coming from inside the family. From her own daughter, Morgan Hawthorne. And what's being said? According to whispers gaining traction, Morgan allegedly feels abandoned, along with her 2 children. Left out, ignored, pushed to the side. How did it get this far? And more importantly, what really happened behind closed doors? Because before this situation spiraled, Morgan's life painted a very different picture. On the surface, everything looked polished, successful, controlled, almost too perfect. Morgan built her name as a respected food blogger, her platform, I Need Some Mo, quietly turning into a go-to space for recipes, lifestyle, and curated perfection. Her digital cookbook, Party Heart, added to that image, simple recipes, clean branding, a life that seemed easy to follow, and even easier to admire. But insiders say what's shown publicly rarely tells the full story. Living in Atlanta, Morgan appeared grounded, family-oriented, settled, a woman who had everything under control. She grew up in Memphis, surrounded by siblings, Jason, Lori, and a blended family that expanded even further with step-siblings. From the outside, it looked like a modern, connected family dynamic. But sometimes, those dynamics aren't what they seem. Morgan married her high school sweetheart, DJ Kareem Hawthorne, a relationship that looked solid, almost untouched by the chaos surrounding it. Together, they built a life. 2 daughters. A home filled with moments that, at least online, felt genuine. Photos, smiles, celebrations. But insiders suggest there may have been tension long before anyone noticed. Because behind the scenes, Morgan wasn't just living a quiet family life. She was also tied directly into the Harvey business empire, co-owning ventures like East 112 and working within the larger structure of Steve Harvey Global. Which raises a bigger question. If everything was so connected, so intertwined, then how does someone in that position end up feeling completely cut off? That's where things start to shift. Because now, another voice enters the picture. And this one comes with history. Morgan's biological father, Jimel Townsend. A man whose past has been described as complicated, controversial, even dark. Legal trouble, prison time, allegations that never fully disappeared. But despite that, insiders say he remained present. Not perfect, but involved. And that contrast? It's what's fueling even more questions. Because while Townsend is now speaking, it looks like he's not just telling his story, he's pointing directly at Marjorie. Months ago, he hinted that there were secrets. Things the public didn't know. Things he was ready to expose. And then, he followed through. During a conversation tied to Tasha K, Townsend made it clear he wasn't holding anything back anymore. According to him, there's a side of Marjorie the public has never seen. And the moment that caught attention, it centered around a viral clip involving Steve Harvey. A seemingly harmless segment. A joke. A story told on daytime television. But insiders say that moment may have meant more than it appeared. In the clip, Steve recalls an interaction with Marjorie's son, a 13-year-old who looked at him and said, "You're not my father." It played off as humor, light tension, a blended family moment turned into entertainment. But Townsend? He didn't see it that way. Sources say he took it personally, deeply. Because while Steve joked about stepping in, about changing lives, Townsend was watching from a completely different position.
That he was talking about Jason when Jason was about 15 years old. Jason was kind of rebellious, my son Jason. He told Steve Harvey one day, "You're not my father. Jimmy Townsend, my father," like that.
At that time, Townsend was serving a life.
At that time, insiders say the reality was already darker than it looked. Jimel Townsend was serving a life sentence tied to serious drug charges. Locked away, but not completely disconnected. And when that viral moment involving Steve Harvey surfaced, Townsend didn't take it well. Not even a little. He later hinted that something about Steve's words felt off, like a line had quietly been crossed. He questioned whether it came from confidence, or something deeper. Because from his side, he claims there was never any competition. A multimillionaire on one side, a man behind bars on the other. No reason for tension. But insiders say, tension was always there. Then things shifted. Townsend started revealing details about Marjorie's past preferences, the kind of men she used to be drawn to. A specific look, a specific type. And according to him, Steve didn't quite fit that image. It wasn't just talk, it felt like layers were being pulled back. But then, another twist. Because despite everything, Townsend claims he reached out to Steve. Not with anger, but respect. He says he thanked the Johnson Family Vacation actor for stepping in and being present in his children's lives. Which raises a bigger question. If there was respect, if there was communication, where did things really change? Because Townsend insists he and Marjorie Harvey stayed in contact. During her dating phase, during the transition, even during the moments that should have created distance. Sources say he could reach her anytime, day or night. And then, the detail that shifts everything. According to Townsend, Marjorie didn't keep the kids away. She brought them to see him inside prison. Let that sink in. A connection that's strong, even under those conditions. So now the question becomes unavoidable. If things were that close back then, what changed now?
Even while she was dating, I could call her anytime, day or night. Me and Laura.
And then, another detail surfaced. According to Jimmel Townsend, he and Marjorie Harvey were still in contact, just days before everything changed. 3 days before the wedding. He claims she told him something that stuck, that Steve Harvey reminded her of her father. A comparison he didn't take lightly. In fact, he says he saw it as a sign that she had found the right one. At least, that's what it looked like at the time. But insiders now question how real that moment actually was. Because according to Townsend, he even sent a letter to both Steve and Marjorie before the wedding. A quiet gesture that didn't stay quiet for long. The clip resurfaced online, shared by the neighborhood talk, and suddenly, people started paying attention. Debates started, sides formed, and then, the narrative shifted again. Because now, Townsend is making a much heavier claim. He suggests Marjorie has distanced herself from certain grandchildren. And insiders say one detail stands out. Morgan's children don't appear on her social media the way others do, which raises questions no one can ignore. After those claims, it looks like Morgan Hawthorne is no longer staying silent. Sources suggest she's leaning on her father's voice to bring more attention to what's been happening. And the internet? It's reacting fast. Because one statement, in particular, hit hard. Morgan allegedly expressed frustration, pointing to moments where her younger sibling was ignored, where family connections started breaking down. Even relationships between cousins affected. And then comes another layer. Insiders claim Steve Harvey has been providing financial support through Marjorie. But according to what's being said, that support may not be reaching everyone equally. Which leads to one uncomfortable question. Is this just distance, or something deeper? Because while all of this builds, another storm was already forming. Rumors began circulating that Marjorie was allegedly involved in a private affair. Not just with anyone, but individuals closely connected to Steve. A bodyguard. A personal chef. Allegations that spread fast and hit even harder. The internet reacted instantly. Some claimed she was seeking a divorce and a massive share of Steve's wealth. Figures being thrown around, reaching into the hundreds of millions. And just like that, the narrative turned explosive. But then Steve stepped in. During a public appearance in Atlanta, he addressed it directly. Calm. Controlled. Saying they were fine. That the rumors meant nothing. That people should find something else to focus on. And for a moment, it seemed like the situation might settle. But Marjorie didn't stay silent either. She posted a message online framing everything as false accusations. Encouraging strength. Encouraging resilience. Positioning herself above the noise. Yet behind all of that, Townsend was already preparing something bigger. A full story. He revealed he had been writing a memoir, documenting everything. The past. The secrets. The parts no one talks about. He claims most of it was written in prison. And now he says he's ready to release it. No loyalty. No holding back. Just his version of the truth. And when he first hinted at that book, another wave of rumors followed. This time about divorce. Back in 2019, reports claimed Steve had started making moves, selling properties in Texas, shifting ownership, separating assets. Sources suggested it wasn't random, that it was calculated, that lessons from his past divorce had already shaped his next steps. And now, people are starting to connect the dots.
So many people have been asking me that same question. And all I got to say about that is, really, I don't give a rat's behind about Steve Harvey or Margaret and what they're going through, in the public. I will say this is, whatever's going down, however they're getting dragged.
And yet, despite everything that's being said, Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey continue to deny it all. Over and over again, they've made it clear the divorce rumors, according to them, nothing but noise. On the surface, it even looks convincing. Marjorie still shares moments online, photos with Steve, with family, with grandchildren. Images that suggest stability, unity, a family still intact. But insiders say, look closer. Because there's one detail people can't ignore anymore. Some faces are there, and some are missing. specifically Morgan Hawthorne's children. Absent. Unseen. And that absence? It's raising louder questions than any headline ever could. Why them? Why does it feel like a line has been drawn right through the middle of the family? Is this just distance, or something deeper that hasn't fully come out yet? Because insiders suggest what we're seeing now might only be the surface. And if even part of these claims hold weight, then the full story could change everything. So now the real question is, what's still being kept behind closed doors? Because something about this situation still doesn't add up. And it looks like we're only at the beginning. If you've been following closely, you already know this isn't over. Stay locked in, because the next reveal might be the one that shifts everything.